Wow, welcome to now the Channel 4 News League. Finally have a name.
And we're coming to you live.
Coming to you live to an audience of no one. But
Yet.
wow,
It's
what are you
7:14.
gonna do?
7:15. So
We did start early. I do hope we haven't gotten a letter from the commissioner yet. I do hope that he does not ask us to, like the SNL Weekend Update, do like a local news section of the show.
see, now here we can take a little tangent and I can admit to something. And that is that I've actually never seen Anchorman.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think you would think it's funny now. I mean, there's funny stuff in it, but you wouldn't think it was nearly as funny as people that watched it around the time when it came out.
Yeah, it's one of those. And I also had never seen Zoolander until a few months ago. And I kind of felt that way about that movie too. That I can see how it was funny at the time. But
That's a good segue into team names because we didn't get to talk about them last week because
Yeah.
not everybody had them. How many of the team names do you not understand because you haven't seen the movies?
This is a fun game. All right. Okay. I'm just going to go to the rosters here. So the Jive Turkeys. I know what a Jive Turkey is, but I actually don't think I can tell you what movie that comes from.
So that is from the Will Ferrell basketball movie. Which
Semi-Pro?
Semi-Pro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just blanking. Will Arnett plays one of the announcers, and people always tease him about how he talks about being in Nam, and they're like, "You've never been to Nam." And during a poker game, somebody calls him a jive turkey, and he pulls out a gun and threatens to shoot him. He's like, "Call me anything else you want. Don't you ever call me a JT."
I saw that movie once, and it's a great movie, but I probably don't know well enough to get that reference.
Yeah.
Okay, Paralyzed Ricky Bobby is Libby, which I have seen.
Talladega Nights.
I have seen that, but I guess I don't get the paralyzed part of it.
I believe he gets into a car crash and thinks he's paralyzed. But
if you would have done Shake and Bake, I would have gotten it.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody went with something like that.
Yeah. Nathan Rodabaugh just changed his name, I think today, to a model idiot, which is ringing a bell, but I don't think I can connect that to a movie.
So that's Zoolander.
Okay.
At the beginning of the movie, there's a Time magazine. He's on the front page, and it says Derek Zoolander, a model idiot.
Got it. Yep.
And he reads it in one line, like he's a model idiot.
The model idiot.
Yeah. Yep.
I got the Zoolander. That was he's got to change his image though.
Yeah. He's still Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Yeah. Mine, Uncle Nico, pass. I know that's. I need to rewatch that movie actually because I haven't seen it for a while.
There's no way it's as good. There's no way.
Where can you stream Napoleon Dynamite? I actually was gonna look it up, and I don't know where I can stream it. I bet you can find it on Prime.
I mean, I'm sure you can rent it on Prime. I wonder if it's
that is though the definition of a cult classic movie that you kind of had to be there for the hype.
With subscription on Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. Okay. You Stole from Mike Kincaid, which is one of my favorites already. We talked about that one. Yeah. Classic. I am
bad.
I mean, yeah, McLovin. I get that one. That's Seth.
I don't know Lucas's.
Yeah, I was going to save that one for last. 39-year-old version, I get that one.
Yep.
Stephanie Still did a great job on the image. So Sam's is about I know the line. It's asking me about my wiener, but what movie is that from? I can't. It's the guy in the hot dog suit.
So I actually appreciate this one from Sam because this was definitely a R class ILC movie. It's from the movie Accepted.
Oh, that's right. Okay, with
Justin Long,
yeah,
I believe
the guy who's a Mac, and also
yeah. But yeah, that was a movie that ran through the dorm for a couple weeks and was very popular.
I do. I've seen that one too. That's a good one. Wes's Dalton Sharts. I know what a shart is. but I don't know what movie that's from.
I don't know what movie that's from.
He,
Whenever
he-
I hear Dalton, I just think of Roadhouse. So
oh, okay, there you go. He came up with the league theme, but he'll have to explain that one. Fun with the kicker and Jane. That
Fun
one
with
on
Nick and Jane.
yeah, but is that? I didn't think that was from the 2000s, but maybe
Oh,
my ignorance is
we
again.
can look it up.
Anybody who's watching,
2005.
okay, you're just seeing how uncultured and not with the times I really am. And then Prestige Worldwide.
I believe that's Dodgeball.
Okay, that's a lot of these are deep cuts, I have to say. Like I've seen Dodgeball, obviously, but I just didn't make that connection. And then we get to Lucas's. So I wasn't on the naming committee. I don't think you were, but he got the dubious name of Poopy Flavored Lollipop, which I played Lucas this weekend, and every time I checked my matchup, I giggled. So well done on the name, but I don't know where that's from.
I don't. Shoot, I should have had this up. I did email a suggestion to Libby.
Yeah, so
he did technically pick the league name that I sent. I sent like the Action News team.
oh, okay.
I mean, basically the same thing. You probably wouldn't get this. It was a Talladega Nights reference. It's actually kind of nice. It was the very thin pancakes.
Oh, all right.
That's what he tries to get Ricky Bobby, the French guy, tries to get Ricky Bobby to say crepes.
Yep.
And he's bartering with him, and he's like, just say very thin pancake. He's like, I won't.
It's fun. Good job, guys. I'm sorry that I don't get most of your references, but I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'll kick it off. We've got our winners. We got our losers to start it all off. So just because I am me and I'm looking at the scoreboard for last week, I'm the top first winner. I did have the most points in the league.
You sure did.
In week one. We've been here before. I did a very similar thing last year. And last year we ranked me number one for week two. I looked back in the archives. So I've been here before. It does not turn out well, but
you do tend to set your high water mark early and show your potential.
Very successful week one team.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe this is the year. It's the hope springs eternal. But you know what else springs eternal is your kicker. 21 points.
Still not the highest kicker total.
No.
Jake Moody.
You know what? It was a great week for kickers. If we're choosing a great performer, it's just any kicker.
Well, Audrey could have even had more because they took back his 60-yard field goal that he made, but there was a penalty.
It's good for the kickers. It's bad for the NFL, which
bad for fantasy.
Bad offensive week for the NFL, but the kickers really shined.
Who would have thought that potentially the most important draft pick that you could have had in our league this year was during the snake draft portion of our draft?
Well, hey, good job picking a good kicker. Jaden Daniels he's becoming, well, it's only 1 week, but he's going to be he's not going to be good actually in the NFL, but he'll put up good points for you. It's the Blake Bortles effect. You'll get that.
Yeah, I mean, he could be Michael Vick.
Michael Vick is that. I think that.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the top tier, but Michael Vick's like not as good as Lamar Jackson.
Ooh,
and
that's another podcast.
Vick won maybe like 2 playoff games. Never, he was on a couple of winning teams, but for the most part, was just a really fun fantasy player.
Okay.
I think a lot of the Jaden Daniels passing stats for week 1 were really, really bad, but he ran for 2 touchdowns. So
yeah.
That's how you make up for it.
Hey, we just talked about your team for 4 minutes. That's got to be a record.
Yeah, not good. On to your team, which is the second one on my list.
Not bad.
Close game. One by two. You got rid of your quarterback. I guess this is the time to talk about the trade.
Yeah. And maybe I kind of spoke this one into existence because we were talking about Stefan's draft, and he has two great quarterbacks. He's got Lamar, and he's got
Jalen Hurts.
had Jalen Hurts. And so I had said the last podcast that he's going to be trade bait. Well, he offered me the trade Monday morning, like right after Tuesday morning after Monday night ends. And I guess, I don't know, Joe Burrow gave me 8 points. So I thought, why not? And Evan Ingram was 1 point for a tight end.
Tight ends were not good this week.
No, tight ends had a bad week, a really bad week. And it's not like Kittle's that much of an upgrade, but and I also saw Jahmyr Gibbs he's handcuffed to David Montgomery, who's going to steal a lot of those goal line touches. So I don't know. We'll see. It intrigued me, though.
As someone who gave up on Gibbs early last year, never know.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what helped me make that choice, though, is J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah. So I was going to say, you did put all your chips in on J.K. to make up for that spot.
I'm ready. Do you know who knows how to have a offense that successfully runs the football?
Harbaugh.
Oh yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready. Harbaugh's gonna lean into JK.
I did love, just like he would do to JJ McCarthy for Michigan. He's hyping Herbert up on the sidelines, punching him, whacking him, get him all that. Herbert throws for like 180 yards.
And you can tell Herbert was not ready for it. He was kind of like, what are you doing?
Harbaugh's just going to be like, do your job. Sometimes on 3rd and 8, you're going to have to throw the ball. Just make sure you throw a completion. Other than that, we'll just run the ball.
I'm telling you what, healthy J.K. Dobbins looked great. And
he looked a little slow.
Yeah, but he can break tackles. I mean, yards after contact was good for him. And this could be like a very much a week 1 overreaction, but I'm buying the J.K. Dobbins stock.
Yeah, Dallas defense kicked in a little bit there. Number 1 pick, so got some value out of that.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer. I don't have a bench. I think that's it don't look beyond my starting lineup because there's not much there. So I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm hanging in there.
Moving on to Nathan, who kind of had a middling week and had 2 great performances with Tyreek and Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed got helped out. I love Jaden Reed. He's a ton of fun. He did get helped out by terrible turf and defenders falling all over the place and him being really fast and just being able to run around people, basically. But hey, who knows?
Well, you have a wide receiver 1. They've got 76 wide receivers on their roster, but they do have a number 1 now.
We now currently have a running back playing quarterback, though, so that might be tough.
Hey, Malik Willis was once thought to be a top 5 overall pick.
Yeah, and then he's started in the NFL, and I think the most yards he's thrown in a game is like 120. So.
Yeah, but there were a couple weeks in the summer of 2021 where everyone thought
Jaden Reed had 138 yards receiving last week. That is more than the highest game that Malik Willis has had throwing the ball.
Ooh, that's a stat of the day. But Nathan,
I don't know if that's true. I'm just guessing.
Nathan does lose Puka to the IR, which is tough.
It's either him or Kupp. There can only be one on the Rams team.
Yeah. And Tyreek Hill got arrested. Let's not get into that, but still managed to play the football game and put in a good performance. Not many of us could do that.
Yep. Nathan's still proving why he's one of the better teams in the league. The league champion, the regular season champion, starting off 1-0. Libby he's got his rock. He's got Josh Allen. When you got Allen putting up over 25 points probably every game, he's going to be tough to beat. Kupp was great. Aaron Jones paid off. 17 points.
Awesome.
Basically 18 points.
Yeah.
Had Ramondre Stevenson sitting on his bench and has Jamison Williams sitting on his bench too.
Yeah.
So
Libby's looking pretty good.
Yeah. It's he's going to be he missed out on something that I took advantage of. Was I grabbed Jeff Wilson and he just kept Mostert on his bench. So apparently you don't like to upgrade your handcuff to Devon Achane.
Or he missed it.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I grabbed him like an hour before this started. The battle of the lowest point totals in the league. Seth inches past Ross. We'll get to Ross on the loser side, but Seth, CJ Stroud was solid. Achane played well, and Connor, and other than that, pretty bad.
Drake London and DK Metcalf, a combined 7 points is tough.
But we'll get to Ross on the loser side.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong team. Ross. I'm sorry, Ross. Seth was a little bit better.
Yeah. Drew, who, very funny, his abbreviation for his team, I think he did this on purpose, is Toad.
Yes.
I was like, Sam Nauman's back in the league?
We thought he was a toad.
Very funny. Enjoyed that quite a bit. Jordan Love's out. That's tough for Drew.
Can I just...
but Ken Walker, is Ken Walker good?
And he's Drew's guy too, so it's even better. But can I pimp my home run a bit and say Marvin Harrison Jr. got less than a point, and I told you so?
Ooh. I don't think that's going to be the case every week. He was wide open, and Kyler Murray checked it down.
But he also dropped stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Xavier Worthy sitting on the bench. You just started the wrong rookie. Are you supposed to know that Xavier Worthy was going to score 2 touchdowns on 3 touches?
Two. I'm pretty sure it was two catches, 2 touchdowns.
3 touches, though. He ran the 1 touchdown.
Okay. But he cashed it on Jake Moody, 26 points.
Nothing like having a defense or a kicker win your game for you.
Yeah, that's clear if you look at the point differential that his kicker made all the difference. So good job.
Yeah, Wes was able to have the luckiest thing that can possibly happen to you, which was your stud running back gets injured or is out for the game, but they mark him out an hour before. Yeah. So all of your guys are locked and you couldn't drop any of them, but you can put Christian McCaffrey on IR and go grab Jeff or
Jordan Mason,
and no one else in the league can.
Yeah.
Basically. So yeah, very fortunate for Wes. He's touched by some evil spirit.
I'm sure Jordan Mason's committed a crime at some point, and that's probably.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, he's. The San Francisco Police Department is looking into criminal charges. Other than that, like Wes, or I suppose we can start on the losers. Sam played me. Scored over 100 points.
Yep.
AJ Brown was good, but other than that,
surprisingly good.
Yeah, Kamara. I having him for like the last half of the year last year. He has these types of games, but it's 83 yards, a touchdown, and then you get all the rest from him just getting checkdowns and stuff. Still to have 19.5 points when the Saints basically had the game won by halftime. Ended up being pretty good. He didn't start Tua, who did end up having more points than Kyler. It wouldn't have mattered.
Starting Tua over Kyler. Either way, Kyler is just not going to be good. I'd be starting Tua.
Yeah. Lucas, Anthony Richardson's dangerous. Stephon Diggs actually had a good game. Yeah, he did play a whole game of football. Stephon Diggs got lucky, I would say. 6 for 33, but had 2 touchdowns.
I'd say I'm happier being a Nico Collins owner because he got the yardage, but Diggs did get the touchdowns.
Yeah, not a lot going on Lucas's bench, so he's going to have to hope for better performances from the starters. Kelsey looks like he's saving up for the playoffs again. Tom, who ranked the worst team in the league and was vindicated because he did have one of the lower point totals, even with a monster performance from Saquon on Friday night. Herbert, again, don't know if he's a starting fantasy quarterback.
He's gonna be a game manager this year if we know
Yeah.
Harbaugh.
Tom might be a little salty that you grabbed that second quarterback off of Stefan's bench.
You can offer me a trade, or you can get. You want Joe Burrow, Tom? You can come get Joe Burrow.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, Tom loves Joe Burrow.
He does.
Nathan did pick to play Tom because he thought CeeDee Lamb wasn't going to play. CeeDee Lamb did play, but did only score 11 points. So Nathan, the gamble paid off. Stefan, 102 points, pretty solid effort. Just ran into a better team with Libby.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson was great.
Yep.
Debo was solid as always. Mike Evans is just the gift that keeps on giving.
It's
like
true.
all that guy does is just score touchdowns. 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Just sick. Yeah, I mean, I think Stefan has a better team than where he's going to end up being in the rankings. But
he gets an
that's just the way
upgrade.
that-
He upgraded his running back thanks to me, and I think that's where he needed it. So let's hope it helps.
All right, but let's look at Ross here. So Ross started Chase Brown. That was a mistake. He started DK Metcalf. That was a mistake. He has Tony Pollard sitting on his bench. He could throw him in. He's got Zeke, who had a pretty solid game. He can throw him in there, move Waddle around. I think Ross has some roster moves that is going to make him a lot tougher in week 2.
Still a very tough week, though, and I think I don't think you want anything from the Bengals offense right now until they shake the rust off. And Kirk looks still very hurt in Atlanta for Drake London. Jake Ferguson got injured, I'm pretty sure. So it's just it's tough for Ross. It's a tough time to be Ross.
Yeah, and I mean the bottom of our power rankings are shocking, just absolutely shocking. I'm gonna keep teasing that. Matt Stafford might not be a starting QB, Wes. I would look into fixing that. You never know. Rashee Rice was a great pick. Palmer, very sexy sleeper pick on the fantasy pods over the summer. 2.5 points. Again, I don't know if you want anything to do with the Chargers passing game, except for Lad McConkey.
Lad.
1 touchdown.
Got his touchdown.
But yeah, not a lot going on Wes's bench. Rodgers was bad. Lockett was decent, just didn't score that touchdown to get him over the top. So I don't know where he's going to be going, but he did kind of make up for the McCaffrey injury. I think Mason is going to be pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Which
And
is
then,
always
I mean, he took the funny kicker name, and he was the one kicker that really didn't do very well. Cool.
that's true.
Some of the best performers of the week. We talked about Reed. We talked about Josh Allen. We talked about Jake Moody. But you had Mixon.
I did. Yeah. And I drafted him, but I didn't really want to draft him. I think I'm just seeing how much I spent for him. $18, which not bad, but I wasn't sure how he was going to shake out, but it's looking good so far. Again, that's why I felt like I could move on from Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I got Amari Cooper. I think he only had 2 points. The Cleveland offense passing game looks bad. Deshaun Watson, bad. Talked about Travis Kelce. He was. I think it's done for him being a regular season monster fantasy player. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that kind of got proven last year.
With age, it's going to happen. He's saving it for the playoffs. I agree.
And then we talked about DK Metcalf and Drake London. Just unfortunately, they were both on Ross's starting lineup. And I started DK in my Yahoo league, and he is now currently sitting the bench. I forgot who I started over, but I was like, I can't do it again, DK.
Yeah.
You have to prove it to me.
Yep.
Drake London is tough because I'm sure he spent a decent amount for him.
A lot of people did. But, it's week 1. Again, we've been fooled by week 1 before. You just don't know.
All right. couple of fun matchups for next week. Oh, the game has already
I
started.
was going to say, what's fun about doing this at night is that we can see live what's happening. James Cook has a touchdown and Devon Achane has a touchdown.
Waddle has 2 receptions for 20 yards. All right. Yeah, it is kicked off. Tim and I are playing each other right away.
Oh, yeah.
Fun little matchup there. We're projected very close to each other.
Close.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be good. Who else is close here? Everyone else is pretty close all the way down, especially with some of the points that have been scored so far.
Everybody's projected over 100.
Yeah, every team, and all within like 5 to 6 points. So I think there's a decent amount of parity in the league this year. I don't think there's one team that's definitely better than everyone else. I mean, unless you look at the point totals from last week, then there is one.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's a decent enough segue into the power
rankings. So, boy, so Tim had put this up. There's obviously the rankings on ESPN. I looked at them a little bit, but I went into this with an idea of the college football rankings. So basically, we had our preseason rankings, and what that does, having a preseason ranking, is it makes so that if you're in the top 5 in the preseason and you don't lose, you're not going to move down ever. So if you were one of the top teams in the rankings from last week and you won, you basically kept your spot or moved up above the people that lost ahead of you. So, Tom, you were 11th last week. You are now the bottom ranked team because I won, so I had to jump you at some point. But Tom moves down to the 12th spot. Ross, who I believe was one of the lower, Ross was 10th. So Ross is now down to the 11th. Stefan was 9 last week. He's now down to 10. Sam is at number 9. He was 7th last week. Lucas, number 8. He was 4 last week. And Wes, who was our second ranked team, is now the top of the losers. So those are all of your losers. Wes is the top of the losers. Going into the guys that won this week, I'm the bottom ranked of the winners at 6. Big jump. I think I went from the ESPN rankings. I think I went from 12 to 2 in the power rankings.
Yes, you did.
Seth is the number 5 team. I think that's right. Is that right? Yeah, Seth is 5. Drew is number 4. Libby, number 3. Tim, you're ranked 2nd after being ranked 3rd. I was right about your team.
Yeah.
And Nathan retains the number 1 spot because he was number 1 last week and won.
Continuing the trend from last year when he just lived at the top of the power rankings. I think
someone's got to take him down.
So I'm okay with this. I think I would put you higher though. I get why you're not. And it's a big jump. ESPN has you ranked 2, so going from 12 to 2 is a big jump.
I'm going to live and die by Jaden Daniels. If he's bad, then I'm not going to do very well. Hopefully Brian Robinson can pick up his slack. I did want to bring this up. This is definitely going to jinx me for the rest of the year after I say this, but I have to just mention it. I kind of feel like my team looks like a Ross team from the past.
Ooh.
Just saying.
How
like,
so?
Well, like Brian Robinson is just kind of one of those sneaky guys that just always gets 15 points. And you never really think of him as a top running back. Have really solid wide receivers that aren't like the best wide receivers in the league, but are like 4 and 5. Took kind of a risk on a quarterback, but it looks like it's going to pay off. Have a good kicker. That's annoying because my kicker is just going to score 18 points a week.
That I can believe.
And then to balance that out, I think that Wes has a team that looks a lot like my teams from the past.
Are you sure
Where-
you're not just trolling?
Where after week one, you're just like, oh boy, this might not have worked. Like Palmer is definitely a guy that I would have bet a lot on. Rashi Rice, obviously, I did it last week. I've had Christian McCaffrey before when he got injured early on in the year and had to scramble to fill that spot. And then trusting a Green Bay running back. Never a good idea,
Never
Wes.
trust a Green Bay running back
Don't do it.
unless he goes to Minnesota.
So, Wes, hopefully that helps propel you forward. Hopefully me comparing myself to an old Ross team denies me.
You're speaking a lot of things into existence.
But it's not often after week one that I look at my team and go, I still like them. And that I'm not seeing a lot of red marks next to the guys' names about them being doubtful into week two.
Yeah.
And I've successfully ruined Caleb Williams for 1 week. He was terrible. He was terrible.
This is the whole reverse jinx. You're reverse jinxing Caleb Williams.
And if they keep winning, I might have to start starting him to really push it forward. But I think just him being on my team is good juju for the NFC North to keep the Bears down.
The rest of the NFC North thanks you.
I did have to watch that entire game because obviously the Packers weren't on. So the Bears were the Fox game.
Yeah, that was a big deal to me because the Vikings games in southern Wisconsin are always on Fox instead of the Bears. But this year they played the Bears.
It's Caleb Williams, man.
Yeah.
Hollywood in Midtown. That was the single most frustrating game to watch because the Bears offense was so terrible. DeAndre Swift, they would just hand the ball off to him and he would fall down behind the line of scrimmage. And then Caleb Williams on second and third down would just throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Roma Dunze got hurt. I dropped him this week, which
Keenan
might come
Allen,
back to bite me.
Or
Keenan Allen is now probable,
Yeah.
but he does have the red injury tag next to him.
Well,
I'm hoping he's fine.
on the other side of the ball, the Titans were really bad too.
Except for the first half, they were fine. But yeah, their quarterback's not going to be.
Levis is. Nobody owns him, but there's a lot of talk among the pundits who talk about football about. I heard that it's the lowest offensive production since the 90s. I guess that was the thing. So that was interesting.
I also texted Tim on Sunday. Is Sam Darnold so good at quarterback that he doesn't need to force feed Justin Jefferson?
And I think I responded that this was not healthy for my irrational love for Sam Darnold. Which
Aaron Rodgers, it was tough to grab any of his wide receivers in fantasy because he was so good at spreading the ball out. Favre too. You just got your guy now. He's going to spread the pill. You're going to win games. You're going to be one of the top-ranked offenses. Jefferson will be fine, but he's not going to be a monster like he used to be when Kirk Cousins used to only throw the ball to him.
We'll see.
And Aaron Jones is just...
Aaron Jones was running over dudes. Everything that I saw Aaron Jones do against the Vikings, when he played the Vikings, he's doing for the Vikings now. And we got a goal line touchdown, which we hadn't had for about 3 years. I have been a Sam Darnold believer probably since I saw him at USC just come back from games. I was like, this guy's going to be something. And he's maybe this is the year now. I have to believe that it's the system. It's the QB whisperer in O'Connell. I have to believe, but I'm not picking him up.
Can Sam Darnold be, let's just say he's really good this year and McCarthy got hurt, so you want to keep him around next year. Have one more year with McCarthy behind. Darnold's really good again. So you're like, year 3, whatever. He's still on the rookie contract. We'll let Darnold run again. Can he be so good in 3 years before they have to start McCarthy that he makes the Hall of Fame eventually. And
If-
then the Vikings can be like, we had 2 back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks in our run.
You were way too optimistic to be a Vikings fan. What I will say to that
And then
is,
Jordan Love just keeps getting injured the first or second. The Packer fans, we screwed anybody that rejoiced about Rodgers hurting himself week 1 of last year. Shame on you.
this is your
Shame on all of you. Because we asked for this.
You
We
did.
100% asked for this. It's terrible. I'm glad that it was just an MCL and he's only out for a couple weeks. But that was the first thing I thought of when he went down. I was like, oh my gosh, it's bad juju, man. You can't laugh at the Jets for Rodgers going down week 1.
So if Darnold is great this year, he's going to get signed to a buttload. He's going to get signed to a buttload of money. He's on a 1-year, $10 million deal. If he gets us to the playoffs this year, he's going to want a big contract. And the Vikings.
What if you just start franchise tagging him like Cousins? You just start giving him like 2-year guaranteed contracts.
The problem is that I think Minnesota, and me included, have already fallen head over heels in love with our guy JJ, and it would be really hard to see him sit.
It's tough, man. He's a cutie patootie. He sits there on the sidelines. He's this charming little high school looking boy.
I've completely bought into him. Over the summer, not over the summer, but before the draft, I was like, I don't want JJ McCarthy. And then he comes in the building and he's just like he's just
a rock star. Or not a rock star, he's a pop star.
I almost love him as much as I almost love him as much as I love Teddy. We loved Minnesota Vikings fans loved
Teddy Two Gloves.
But JJ, yeah, I don't think he's going to sit for longer than a year.
I don't think you can start him next year.
No,
after the injury, I think maybe mid year next year, but possibly wait 3 years with Sam Darnold. Make a couple NFC championship games.
Yeah,
just lose to the 49ers over and over again, and or the Seahawks, and just become the new Packers.
Boy, it's
and I mean, what Jordan Love, he might be Teddy Bridgewater for us. Really comes in amazing that first year, and we're thinking franchise quarterback all the way through. Hurts his knee, and you never know. Might never be the same again.
I would saying a lot of things. Knees and bad knees and quarterbacks are definitely a Minnesota Vikings thing. Just ask Bridgewater.
Jaden Reed might be the next Randy Moss.
We're just gonna flip places now.
We just have really good wide receivers and middling quarterbacks.
Yeah. Okay. That would be fun.
We start taking old Vikings players that become legends on their team.
You guys are gonna have Harrison Smith next year.
Yeah, we'll be really excited.
Oh, that would be fun. That's enough. I mean, the real test for the Vikings is this weekend against the 49ers. This is where we find out if they're for real.
Brock Purdy stinks, man. Take it to him.
It's a Sam Darnold revenge game because he sat the bench all year behind Brock Purdy.
He learned from the coach there, and now he's good.
It's all O'Connell. Shanahan can suck eggs.
I mean, I'm worried. I think the Lions should be worried. I think the Bears are terrible. I think Caleb Williams. I mean, I'll take him out. I'll take him out myself. I might have to. Tim, in 2 years, when Sam Darnold finally has to become the Cowboys' starting quarterback because Dak is bad, and they need another high-paid quarterback.
Lots of predictions.
And JJ McCarthy comes in. I might have to fantasy draft JJ McCarthy and take him out.
No, by that point, if we're making wild predictions, by that point, you're going to be a Vikings fan. You don't like being a Packers fan. You want to be a Vikings fan.
It's true. I have been waiting to become not a Packers fan for very long.
When you see JJ's post game after a win and he's just smiling and talking about how he meditated before the game, and
if the Vikings for some reason are like O'Connell, we don't need him anymore, and hire Harbaugh, and Harbaugh and McCarthy come back.
See, it's funny because there was a whole rumors about the Vikings interviewed Harbaugh before they got
that's true.
O'Connell. So that would be coming full circle.
I was really worried that if Harbaugh took the Bears job, I mean,
That would have been.
it's already been talked about. I'm very close to just becoming an all Chicago fan, and
Might as well buy in.
I'm moving closer and closer to Chicago every year. Actually, technically, I moved a couple miles north of it, but I went from the north side of Milwaukee to the south side last year. I was getting close. I was an hour away.
It's the slow creep towards the Bears.
Yeah, I'll be living in Kenosha next year, probably.
Oh, okay.
Right on the border. Me and the guy that shoots people, we're just gonna be hanging out.
Oh, Rittenhouse, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Wes will have him on his bench next year for fantasy football.
Woo! All right, we've gone down the rabbit hole.
Well, good thing nobody joined us live to fully enjoy that.
I don't think I gave you guys enough notice, but join next time because you can comment and you can heckle or whatever. It might be fun. It might be fun. Or you can listen to Luke's Franchise Addicts podcast.
Thanks for the plug. I wasn't even going to plug it.
No, I'll plug it. I'll gladly plug it. The Batman episode was great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You're one of the 20 listeners. Did you listen on Spotify or Apple?
Spotify.
All right. Yeah, you're one of the 22 listeners on Spotify.
That's me. But I will say, if we want to just talk about that quick, that I was going to say that Chris talking about that movie and all of his irrational feelings towards it is exactly how I would sound on a podcast if I talked about the Star Wars prequels, because he was saying a lot of things.
I believe at one point in the podcast I said this feels like a therapy session.
Yes.
For you.
Yep. No, it was great. As much as I disagree with it, I'm like, this is exactly how I would sound talking about my favorite movies from my childhood.
So I think you probably landed more where I did on the movie, where it's fine, but there's a lot of really goofy things about it that don't hold up.
I'm so ready for you guys to get to the Nolan movies. Like, these movies are fine, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah. There'll be a lot to say on the. I mean, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever are going to be some slogs. It's going to be really tough. I mean, it's going to be funny, but it's going to be really tough. I'm looking forward to Batman Returns. I haven't seen that one as much as 89, but the last time I watched it, I thought it was great. So,
well, I watched only one of the Aliens movies, and I still listen to those podcasts and enjoy them. So you guys can still make talking about bad movies good. So.
Great. It is a free invite to anybody that has interest in any of the Batman movies. If you would like to be on the pod, let me know. I can get you set up. You can do it over Zoom, and I can record your audio on it, and you can join Chris and I in bashing the Batman movies, or at least these early Batman movies, or jump on the Nolan ones. And I think Chris might go full heel on the Nolan ones. So.
He looks like
I might need some backup.
He's gonna need some convincing on the Nolan ones. Just reading his responses.
Well,
get him on board.
So the joke is that Chris is 40 and I'm 33. So it is the most obvious split that he likes the classic Batman and I like the Nolan Batman.
I think it makes for great podcasting though. So
all right. Well, I appreciate the plug. I will try not to do that. If you guys get annoyed with it, send me an email and tell me to shut up. But yes,
nobody's listening. Nobody's listening right now.
True. Free invite to jump on. I apologize for the language on it, Tim, that you can't listen around your kids, but it is what it is.
That's I think that's a wrap for tonight, though. And I've had this football banner going the entire time. And if you're annoyed by it, shame on you.
Let's get a quick look at where we're at with the game. It is 10-7 Bills. Top performers. Looks like Josh Allen has scored. Cooks up to 9.2. Achane 9.7.
Waddle's
So
got 2 points. 2
looks
points.
like Achan is going to be the big winner tonight, along
Yeah.
with potentially Cook.
We'll see.
All right, sweet. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Since nobody's watching, we're plugging Polar again. Tim, this is the best Polar
I can't
seltzer
read-
flavor. It is pink apple lemon.
pink apple lemon.
It's a rare find. It's only in 12 packs, but it is Rebecca and I's favorite flavor. Whenever we see it in a store, we buy it for each other. A little cute thing there. But it is so excellent. Top Polar seltzer flavor.
Boy, I see, and I've been branching out and trying a bunch of them. I really like just the plain lemon one, but pink apple lemon. I'm gonna have to try that out. I love me a Polar.
Find it at your local Piggly
Full
Wiggly.
sponsor. Polar since 1880 something.
Worcestershire, Massachusetts.
They have the little skinny cans of Polar iced tea. Those are good too. If you've seen them, they're like little the skinny cans. Like
I've seen the skinny seltzer cans. I haven't seen the.
they're like iced tea, like a Arnold Palmer, but Polar.
Do they have sugar?
No sugar.
Ooh, all
Yeah.
right.
All right. I gotta get in touch with Polar. See if we can get an ad read. I'll get back to you.
All right. Football.
Football.